Hey everybody, how are you? David DeFranco here from daviddefranco.com with a video topic that is pretty much sure to rustle some fanboy feathers. Not that we're birds, but you never know, there might be at least one bird watching my videos. Seriously though, this topic is extremely interesting and it bothers me very much, especially with how passionate I am with technology in general, and I cannot stand seeing people fight over the stupidest shit. And that is about being first. Why are people so obsessed with being first? Okay, so for this video's purpose, I'm going to use Apple as an example. Well, because one, they're a great example. Two, their keynote just wrapped up last week regarding the iPhone 6, iPhone 6 Plus, and now the brand new Apple Watch. And three, Apple is huge, so they're easy to talk about, and I'm kind of passionate about them. So here we go, jumping into the discussion, and I just want to warn you, I may get a little passionate. I'm not trying to be offensive, but I just care very deeply about this topic. Okay, so the first thing I want to make clear, and for some reason, I'm sure there are going to be a few people out there who still don't understand this. Apple is not about being first. They never have been, and they probably never will be. They're about doing it right. They're about taking an existing product market, from smartphones, to watches, to tablets, to MP3 players, and perfecting it. They're not about inventing new products. They're about reinventing products, which is exactly why when Steve Jobs introduced the iPhone in, 2007? He said Apple is going to reinvent the phone. He never once said, look, we're inventing the phone. We're inventing a brand new form of communication. And the same exact thing goes for the iPod. The iPod was far from the first MP3 player, but nobody can argue this. The iPod has forever changed the world of music. It has revolutionized the way we distribute music. It has revolutionized the way we purchase music. And it has especially revolutionized the way we listen to our music on the go. And now the iPad, another great example. The iPad was not the first tablet, obviously. Microsoft tried this years ago with their own form of a tablet. And as far as I'm concerned, it was kind of a flop. And let's not forget about the Newton. I mean, that's kind of more of like a personal data assistant or whatever, like a PDA. Is that what PDA stands for? I always forget. And well, the Newton wasn't exactly a huge success. It's all about timing and doing it right. And the iPad did just that. All right, so when Apple did announce the iPad, there were a lot of people saying, it's just the giant iPhone. Why isn't it completely different? Because Apple is smart. They take a familiar experience, in this case the iPhone, blow it up into something that a lot of people can use, such as a tablet, and make it a user-friendly experience. And now the same could be happening for the Apple Watch. Now obviously it's not out yet until early 2015, so we have no way of telling how sales are going to be. But come on, let's be honest, I'm pretty sure it's going to sell fairly well despite its high price tag. And it's Apple. People are always willing to pay a premium for quality, because that's exactly what Apple delivers. If you compare something like a Samsung Galaxy to an iPhone, sure, both phones are probably very nice, but as far as I can tell, the iPhone is of much higher quality. The app ecosystem, in my opinion, is a lot more mature and controlled. Now, I realize not everyone's a fan of controlled environments and ecosystems. Personally, I am, because it pretty much guarantees a satisfactory experience for me, the user, spending money on their products. And another thing is fragmentation. Apple has complete control over all their products, which is why their products are far from fragmented. But anyway, David, stop yourself there. I'm not going to talk about fragmentation too much, but you guys get my point, I hope. All right, so the next point I want to talk about is obviously in direct relation to being first. And it's the idea of, well, if you're not first, then why bother at all? There's this thing going around the internet, this graphic saying the Nexus 4 has had these features since like 2012 or so, and that the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus are just now getting these features. Yeah, I mean, Apple might be a little slow with certain features, but are you implying that Apple should not release these features at all? Because think about this for a second. All right, so there's one phone with all these features, and everyone's like, oh my god, this phone's great. But then phone number 2 comes out with the same features a couple years later. And then people are saying, phone 1 has had these features for years. So are you suddenly implying that phone 2 shouldn't have been released at all, simply because phone 1 had these features first? I mean, that's kind of how I look at it. It's a very flawed way of thinking, and I really, really wish people would think outside the box more. A great example of this is TV sizes. Say Samsung came out with the first 46-inch TV ever, but then Sony a year later came out with their 46-inch TV. Do you see people complaining, oh, Samsung had this size TV first, Sony, you suck for being late? Yeah, it sounds stupid saying it out loud, doesn't it? And it's the same exact damn thing for these freaking phones. I don't get why people get so upset over being first. It's not about being first. The 46-inch Samsung TV may have been first, but what if this 46-inch Sony TV is better with features? Do you see what I'm saying here? And now the next thing I want to say is, well, Apple cannot release everything at once. Do you honestly expect them to introduce every single feature that Android has in one phone? I mean, yeah, the iPhone 5 was Apple's first 4-inch phone. Long after that, it's existed in the whole Android marketplace as well as other platforms. But that doesn't mean that Apple needs to release things on schedule. I mean, I like to think that Apple paces the releases for a reason. There was no way in hell they were going to go from a 3.5-inch iPhone all the way up to something like 4.7-inch iPhone in just a year's time. That doesn't make sense for the consumer. And well, as they say, slow and steady wins the race. Is that how that goes? I'm not even sure. But it's the truth. Apple is kicking ass, and they're obviously doing something right. Now, I will say, obviously, I'm happy that Apple finally has a 4.7-inch iPhone and a 5.5-inch iPhone. Now, personally, I think 5.5-inch is a little too large. I mean, obviously, I haven't used it myself, but if I were to get the iPhone 6, then I'd get just that, the iPhone 6, their 4.7-inch model. All I'm saying is, Apple's a very smart company, and they release one major iPhone every single year. Compare one iPhone release every year to the insane amount of Android phones that come out every year. Think about that. If there's going to be more Android phones, obviously Android is going to be ahead of Apple, because Apple is one iPhone every 365 days. Or just about. Whereas Android, there's at least, 5 to 10 new devices every year. So compare all those Android devices to one iPhone. Isn't the probability of those Android devices having a larger screen greater than just the iPhone getting a larger screen? Well, of course, it's common sense. And for some reason, people can't realize this. It's exactly why Android's market share is so much higher nowadays than the iPhones. Because there are more Android devices in this world than iPhones. It's not a good thing, it's not a bad thing, it's just how it is. You really can't compare them directly. Okay, I'm talking a lot, let's just go to the next argument, and that's exactly what it's about. It seems like a one-sided argument. Let's not forget this, guys. The iPad came long before the Nexus 7 did, the Galaxy Tab did, and the list goes on and on. Apple has reinvented the tablet and gave the tablet market some life. So in a way, Android users, you have Apple to thank for that Android tablet you're probably watching this video on. Think about that for a second. And the same goes for smartphones. Guys, let's not ignore the obvious here. The smartphone market before the iPhone was just okay, but that's because we didn't have any standards. But then when the iPhone came out in 2007, that literally changed everything. The iPhone started a brand new market of smartphones. And honestly, we have Apple to thank for all the Android phones that exist in this world, all the Windows phones, outside of Windows Mobile and Trio or whatever it was called. And guys, you know what? Apple has plenty of innovations going on nowadays. Some may argue that the iPhone is no longer revolutionary and, well, innovative. I don't know why, but for some reason, people always relate the term innovative to new creations and new ideas. That's not always the case. I mean, if you look at NFC on the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, NFC is far from new. But because Apple is so dominant in this world and they're great at marketing their product, I think NFC finally has the potential to become a standard thanks to Apple, not Google and Google Wallet. Now, I'm sure Google Wallet is great, but Google doesn't exactly have the market penetration that Apple does. And yeah, I just said penetration. And finally, the last thing I just want to make clear is just relax. Why do you get so mad every single year when Apple comes out with new iPhones and new iPads? Just let us enjoy our new products, and you can enjoy your new products. There is no legit reason to argue about stupid shit like this. While right now, as I'm making this video, there are real problems going on out there. Whereas here, We're arguing about phones and tablets and video game consoles. You need to evaluate yourself and ask yourself, is this really important? I mean, is it worth arguing about? I mean, yeah, I'm making this video, so I may be contradicting myself, but I'm making this video for that purpose, to get the word out, to change people's minds. Unfortunately, this video is not going to change a lot of people's minds. I'm sure a lot of people are going to hate this video. But you know what? That's me. I'm always honest. I am never, ever afraid to speak my mind. And it's always going to be that way. I love my tech. You love your tech. I mean, hey, if anything, I appreciate your passion. It's just, don't act like an asshole. I mean, if the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus has features that your Android phone has had for years now, who gives a shit? It doesn't affect you. I just never understood that, especially the whole video game thing. I mean, the video game community is the worst it's ever been in years, and I hate saying that because I'm a gamer at heart. I mean, I always have been a gamer, and I always will be a gamer, but I cannot stand the idea of PS4 users dissing Xbox One users, and Xbox One users dissing PS4 users, and then, of course, all the PC Master Race bullshit. PC Master Race doesn't exist. You're not a Master Race. If you're some Master Race, then why the hell are you missing out on AAA games of the year, such as Destiny, and The Last of Us, and the Halo anniversary coming up? That's the thing. Play anything and everything, and use anything and everything. Just sit back, relax, enjoy your technology. We are so freaking lucky to have such luxuries around us. That's it. I'm done. This video went a little longer than usual. But hey, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. And if you do like this video, please click that like button. It really does help me a lot. So guys, thank you so much. I think the tape on the camcorder was making noise. Oh, wait, hold on. Let me get it off. There you go. A little secret. I always have notes under here. Usually, anyway. What the? I'm a little frustrated today. Guys, thank you. Your support means the world to me. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.